The estate will break her, the Duke told his mother. By summer it was worth more than his own. Give her the estate, the old woman said, and watch how fast she runs from it. Nathaniel Ashcombe didn't answer his mother right away. He stood at the window of Ravensfield Hall, watching a woman he barely knew walk across the frost-covered lawn like she already owned every blade of grass beneath her feet. She won't run, he finally said. That's what worries me. 6 weeks earlier, Nathaniel hadn't known Claire Whitfield existed. Then a letter arrived from his late uncle's solicitor, informing him that half of Ravensfield, the crumbling East Wing, the tenant farms, the debt that came with all of it, now belonged to a woman his uncle had quietly cared for in his final years. A woman with no title, no family name anyone recognized, and, according to his mother, no right to any of it. Nathaniel had grown up being told the estate was his birthright. He'd spent his adult life managing what was left of the family's failing fortune, propping up a name that meant more to strangers than it did to the banks. He hadn't expected to share that burden with anyone, certainly not with her. She'll want to sell her half, his mother, Eleanor, insisted, smoothing her sleeve the way she always did when she wanted to believe something badly enough to make it true. Once she understands what she's inherited, she'll take whatever we offer and disappear. Nathaniel wasn't so sure. There was something in the way Claire had walked through the property yesterday, not admiring it, not calculating its worth, but studying it, like she was looking for something specific. He found out what 3 days later. Claire asked to see the old greenhouse behind the East Wing, a structure so neglected that ivy had swallowed half its frame. When Nathaniel unlocked it for her, she didn't look around. She walked straight to a loose stone in the far wall and knelt down. "Your uncle told me there'd be something here," she said quietly. Nathaniel's chest tightened. "Told you when?" "Before he died. He said if anything ever felt wrong about the will, if anyone tried to take this from me, I'd find the truth behind this wall." She pulled the stone free. Behind it was a small tin box, rusted at the edges. She didn't open it. She simply held it like she wasn't ready yet. "What's inside?" Nathaniel asked. "I don't know," she admitted. "He never told me. Just that it mattered more than the house itself." That night, Eleanor demanded to know what Claire had found. Nathaniel told her the truth, that he didn't know either. His mother's face changed in a way he hadn't seen before. Fear maybe. Or recognition. "Your uncle was a foolish, sentimental man," Eleanor said. "Whatever is in that box, it changes nothing. The estate is entailed to the family line. She inherited a burden, not a birthright." "Then why do you look like you've seen a ghost?" Eleanor didn't answer. For the next 2 weeks, Claire didn't open the box. She worked instead, quietly, relentlessly. She reviewed the estate's books line by line, something Nathaniel hadn't done thoroughly in years because he already knew what he'd find. Mounting debt, unpaid taxes, a slow bleed with no clear cause. Claire found the cause in 4 days. "Someone's been paying a private account from the estate's funds," she told him, spreading the ledgers across the study table. "Small amounts, going back almost a decade. Never enough to trigger an audit. But it adds up to nearly £200,000. Nathaniel stared at the numbers. "Who authorized this?" Claire hesitated before answering. "Your mother's signature is on every transfer." He wanted to believe there was an explanation. Private investment. A debt he didn't know about. Something that wasn't betrayal. He confronted Eleanor that evening. She didn't deny it. "Everything I did was to protect this family," she said, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. "Your father left us with nothing but a name and a house we couldn't afford to keep. I found a way to keep both. By stealing from the estate you claim I'm entitled to?" "By surviving," Eleanor snapped. "Something your uncle never had to worry about, tucked away in his cottage playing at charity with strangers." The words hung in the room. Nathaniel realized, for the first time, that his mother hadn't been protecting the family name. She'd been protecting a secret. Claire finally opened the tin box 3 days later, in front of both of them. Inside was a folded letter and a photograph. His uncle, decades younger, standing beside a woman who was unmistakably Claire's mother. The letter explained everything. Claire wasn't simply someone his uncle had cared for in his final years. She was his daughter, born from a relationship the family had buried before Nathaniel was even born, a relationship Eleanor had known about and worked for years to conceal, quietly diverting estate funds to keep Claire's mother silent and far away. "You knew," Nathaniel said, looking at his mother. "You knew who she was this entire time." "I knew what would happen if the truth came out," Eleanor said. "The scandal. A shame. I was protecting you from a history you didn't need to carry." "You were protecting yourself," Claire said quietly. "From a truth that was never yours to hide." For a long moment no one spoke. Then Claire did something Nathaniel didn't expect. She folded the letter carefully and set it down. "I don't want revenge," she said. "I want what he actually intended. For this place to belong to people who'll take care of it honestly. That includes you, Nathaniel. Not because of blood. Because you've spent your whole life trying to hold this family together, even when it wasn't giving you much reason to." Eleanor was asked to repay what she'd taken, in installments overseen by the estate's solicitor. She stayed at Ravensfield, though something between her and Nathaniel had shifted permanently. Not broken beyond repair, but changed, the way trust changes once it's been tested and found wanting. By summer, the East Wing had been restored using funds Claire brought in from her own work as an estate consultant, work she was, ironically, far better at than either Ashcombe had ever been. Tenant farms that had been failing for years turned their first profit in over a decade. The house that Eleanor had insisted was Nathaniel's birthright had become, under Claire's steady hand, something worth considerably more than what he'd started with. Nathaniel found her again in the greenhouse one evening in late June, now cleared of ivy and full of new plantings. "You could have taken your share and left," he said. "Everyone would have understood." "He asked me to take care of this place," Claire said. "Not because it was owed to me. Because he trusted me to." Nathaniel looked around at what had once been abandoned and was now, slowly, becoming whole again. "For what it's worth," he said, "I think he'd be glad you stayed." Claire smiled, the first real smile he'd seen from her. "I think he'd be glad we both did. If you discovered a hidden sibling had more right to your family's legacy than you did, would you fight to keep it or help them claim what was rightfully theirs?" If this story moved you, let us know your thoughts in the comments, give the video a like, and share it with someone who might need this reminder today.